What's up, guys? I don't know if this is going to work. Internet's fine. Everything's good. I cannot explain this one. I cannot explain this one. All right. We're live now. Check internet speed. Everything's good, guys. Everything's good. I don't know, fam. This is the part where I'm just like, are we getting fucking attacked? I'm at that point. I'm seriously at that point. Do we get fucked with from the outside? Because we have eliminated all. We eliminated all the things: PC, internet, new software, everything. I'm telling you. Condition based, as I said before, it's not pill that you are still using their system to broadcast and they have your IP address unlocked, which is the same reason I can't go live. My IP is burned. Why do you think YouTube don't want you back? You're too hot. Dude, I'm telling you, I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure this out. Because I really believe at this point, like I don't want to be a victim and be like, oh, someone's fucking with me. Someone's fucking with me. No, I don't know what else it could be at this point. Don't know. Okay. Well, we were crushing your neighborhood hub. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know, but it doesn't matter at this point. We need to carry on, okay? We're going to carry on. So, this is what's been going down here. We had this airspace shut down, all kinds of planes wondering what the hell was going on. And they closed this thing due to what they're saying is Mexican cartel drones.
The temporary closure of airspace over El Paso. It's now been lifted. The agency said there is no threat to commercial aviation. All flights will soon resume as normal. This comes hours after flights in and out of El Paso International Airport were closed, with officials citing special security reasons. So this is good news, but the mystery remains. For those people who are heading home from El Paso, maybe you want to turn around and call your local airline.
So this was all the breaking news coming about this, guys. This happened right around as we were coming off yesterday. The FFA is halting all flights to and from El Paso, Texas for 10 days for unspecified special security reasons. They're warning that any pilots who don't comply, quote, may be intercepted. And right now they're saying the government has classified the area as a, quote, national defense airspace, and deadly force could be used against aircraft violating the airspace if they are deemed to pose a, quote, imminent security threat, per Fox News. And when you hear this stuff, you're starting to wonder, like, okay, is this terrorists? Are these cartel members? Is this something domestic? What could this possibly be, and what is this leading up to? All right? And again, this was all labeled as special security reasons. And this was kind of the alerts that were going out on the local system saying, the reason for the NOTAM is listed on the FAA website, special security reasons. No further explanation was provided. But given that El Paso sits on the U.S. border with Mexico and the Trump admin is targeting drug cartels across the Western Hemisphere, the closure could be tied to a new perceived threat or impending U.S. military operation. The NOTAM took effect at 11:30 p.m. Mountain Time Tuesday and expires at 11:30 p.m. or next Friday. The El Paso city government issued an advisory. Earlier that read, the FFA on short notice issued a temporary flight restriction holding all flights to and from El Paso and our neighboring community, Santa Teresa, New Mexico. The restriction prohibits all aircraft operations, including commercial, cargo, and general aviation. And everyone's sitting here wondering, what were they actually doing? Now, as I was trying to dig into this, trying to get more information on this CBS News is trying to turn a corner here, guys, on not being fake news. Will I ever trust them again? Absolutely not. I will say, though, they are getting a little bit more balanced in the reporting now that they have new management. That you can absolutely see that there's no doubt about it at all. CBS News was reporting this. They're saying the airspace closure followed spat over drone-related tests and party balloon shoot-down. The unexpected but brief airspace closure in the Texas border city of El Paso stemmed from disagreements between the Federal Aviation admin and Pentagon officials over drone-related tests. Multiple sources close to the matter told CBS News. Pentagon had undertaken extensive planning on the use of military technology near Fort Bliss, a military base that abuts the El Paso International Airport, to practice taking down drones. Two sources identify the technology as high-energy lasers. High-energy lasers. What the fuck are we doing? Meetings were scheduled over safety impacts, but Pentagon officials wanted to test the technology sooner, stating that U.S. Code 130I requirements governing the protection of certain facilities from unmanned aircraft had been met. FAA admin Brian Bedford on Tuesday night decided to close the airspace without alerting the White House, Pentagon, or Homeland Security officials. I mean, if that's true, I mean, how fucking stupid can you be? Bedford told officials the airspace restrictions would be in place to ensure safety until issues with the War Department could be resolved. The FAA declined to comment. The critical bulletin issued to pilots and airlines not to fly below 18,000 feet was initially set for 10 days, a duration for a full grounding, not used since the 9/11 terror attacks. And fam, this is why this was such big news when this was coming out. I'm sitting here wondering, 10 days? That's insane. I mean, like, who are they driving fucking tanks and artillery over the border from Mexico into our space? 10 days is a long time, fam. We have not seen that in a long ass time. Earlier this week, the anti-drone technology was launched near the southern border to shoot down what appeared to be foreign drones. The flying material turned out to be a party balloon, sources said. One balloon was shot down. Mexican cartel has been running drones on the border lately, the sources said, but it was unclear how many were hit by the military's anti-US UAS technology this week. One official said at least one cartel drone was successfully disabled. The grounding of all flights, including emergency medical evacuation, touched off a scramble among law enforcement agencies Wednesday morning to figure out what prompted the security message in the so-called NOTAM. It was discussed in regular meetings in the White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles' office Wednesday morning. Within minutes, the FFA limited the restrictions. Sources familiar with the discussion said Pentagon and Department of Transportation officials have been coordinating on the military drone test for months, and the FFA had been assured that there was no threat to commercial air travel. Two airline sources said airline officials were told the decision to halt flights in and out of El Paso Airport appeared to stem from drone activity and U.S. government efforts to counteract it. So this sounds like one giant shit show. It's not like the Pentagon, Susie Wiles, the Trump admin, were on top of this. They knew what was going on. The FFA, on the other hand, not so much. They did not want to comment on this. And what it found out to be is that our military were testing our own drones and also taking out the cartel's drones with fucking laser weapons and also shooting down a party balloon. This is the thing, guys. We have talked about the cartels for a while, and these cartels have already said and admitted on camera in many interviews the moment that Trump won that they are willing to circumnavigate as much as they have to for the next 3 years or whatever, however Trump's term goes for. Just 3 more years about now. They're willing to cool their jets for a little while and wait them out because in their minds, the cartels, they're not going anywhere. They can wait 3 years. They can go to Canada. They can go to other locations and do their thing. That doesn't mean they're just going to stop. They'll slow down. But they have been using drones. They're using drones all the time during Joe Biden's administration, scouting out all kinds of things on the border, scouting out agents, scouting out routes for these people can get traffic into the country, sex slaves, God knows whatever else. And you got Pete Hegseth out here shooting their shit up with laser weapons. Now, usually with stories like this, guys, I don't overreact like crazy. But I will say there is a pattern here with these types of stories, especially when it's coming to foreign countries and how we are approaching them now in the Don Roe Doctrine, is that you get the foundation laid out. The foundation laid out for Maduro was we're gonna plant our fucking Navy right outside and park it outside their country in the ocean so they can see exactly our destroyer ships and to let them know we're not fucking around. Then it progressed and escalated from there. We're doing the same thing here from what it looks like. We're testing our own drones, testing some new technology from what it sounds like, and also taking out their drones as the first step forward. That's what this seems like to me because, guys, I'm telling you, Trump talks very nicely about Scheinbaum. You know, the Jewish Mexican that ended up winning the election somehow, which we all know is bullshit, okay? We all know it's bullshit. He's completely owned by the cartels. Everyone knows this. And this entire time about this Don Roe Doctrine, I'm like, if you're going to flex, you cannot let the Mexican cartels just continue operating the way that they have been. They will have to be dealt with, just like Cuba is going to be dealt with at some point. And people will say this is America first. Well, guess what? It is America first. Because previous administrations let these people run us over and kill more Americans than they have been in any kind of war with the drugs they've been pouring in, all the prostitution, all the trafficking, you name it. It is America first as it gets, in my opinion, exactly what I voted for. So you got drone warfare happening on the border. And not only that, there was another story that coincided with this that really not too many people are talking about. That you had Border Patrol basically seize 132 acres right around this same area, straight up from the cartels, and just took it from them. You can't tell me, fam, things are not happening or things are not going on pertaining to the cartels because it's very under the radar right now, and I think Trump's trying to keep it that way. Take a look.
They thought they were untouchable. They were wrong.
Stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. Oh, no, that's how rough riders roll.
Over 134 acres of land and property taken from the West Side Gulf Cartel, a terrorist organization operating near Rio Grande City, Texas. You think this is just about arrests? It's not. We are dismantling your operations from the ground up. You're cutting out your safe houses, your staging areas, your corridors. This is your warning. Keep smuggling. Lose everything. You're next.
Damn right we.
The Trump admin is sending, Border Patrol is sending a message to the cartels. We know you're here. We know you're still operating. We know you're still smuggling. We will fucking take you out. Get out of the country. It's not just about arrests. We're establishing our dominance again and taking our territory back that you all have taken and simply going to, we're just going to take it. There is no other way around it. Now, as I've been saying, guys, this seems like kind of like a predicate, a big time predicate for what could be coming for Scheinbaum. And I love this take here from Just Another Pod Guy. Next up on the agenda is a buyout of the cartels in Mexico. You can't invest in Mexico without predictability, and you don't have predictability if investors are worried of a cartel resurgence when Trump is gone. The cartels can inflict a lot of casualties if they have no off-ramp. So what do? Option A, blackmail Claudia using the CIA, threatening to leak years of evidence that she and her cabinet are all bought by the cartels. B, reach out to the higher-ups at each major faction offering a one-time opportunity to move their illicit gains to Miami and a pardon in exchange for providing all the data you need to dismantle their logistics. Remember what we always say. Trump's first deal is always going to be the best deal. After that, it's pain. Option C, announce a joint presser at Claudia where the U.S. in partnership with the Mexican military is drone striking every cartel facility in Mexico and along the major routes in SA. None of the higher-ups will be there, but the foot soldiers likely will be. And option D, Mexico announces massive forgiveness and jobs program for former cartel soldiers. In parallel will roll out a Salvadorian-style incarceration program enforced by the U.S. support. And option E, U.S. renegotiates USMCA, preventing trade or investments from China. So this is a mix, fam, of pure strength, pure might. You can leverage trade, you can leverage blackmail, you can leverage all kinds of shit to get Mexico to play ball here. And the next time that these retards think they're going to be able to fly drones into our airspace, they're going to have another thing coming from them. Because if there's one thing that we know for sure, guys, with P. Hexeth and Trump, is that this military will flex. And when they flex, things go boom and heads explode. And not in the little ways, the big ways, and very quickly and efficiently, where nothing is left but pink mist. That's what's their future. And guess what? Yeah, are the cartels a formidable force? Yeah, they're basically a military. And there's thousands and thousands of these people. All right? They're not some pushover force, no doubt about it. But are they any match for the U.S. military? Of course they're not. Of course they're not. The fact that this happened, the fact that this came out, this is not going to continue to happen under Trump's watch. I can tell you that right now. And I think this could be a predicate, an absolute predicate for where this is going to end up going for the future. Highly fascinating. No one's really talking about it too much. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. You guys were dropping me some love while we were having disconnect issues. Thank you, SBF Chief with the can one, Rambo the cookie, Sean Joe. Thank you, my friend. Dixie with the can, Trick Pony, Sean Joe, Trick Pony again, PJ Carr. In condition base there. We're going to look into the IP change, my friend, no doubt. Scott 17. SBF Chief says, just shoot them the fuck down. End of story. Paso, yeah, with the double cans again. Sean Joe with a cookie. Spirit with the can of the floor is yours. Said, bro, your new setup is fire. I've never been able to watch any of your shows in high definition. I'm doing it now. The streaming is perfect. I cannot believe it. And every time you do your break, that video always breaks up when I'm watching it using my Fire Stick Amazon browser. Yeah, man. People don't. There's some forces out there that don't want you guys watching the show. It's becoming blatantly obvious, but it is what it is. I don't even know if we're live on YouTube. Nope, we're not even live on YouTube. So that's pretty incredible. We're getting fucked with, guys. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. We're live everywhere else. It is what it is, guys. What's the old saying from the Q days? We're over target. We're over the target. You know who was also over the target? The fucking FBI and the Georgia elections. FBI has substantiated irregularities in Georgia 2020 vote counts, probing if they were intentional. And what are they talking about here, fam? This is huge. The FBI has substantiated some major irregularities in how votes were counted in Georgia's largest urban area in the aftermath of the 2020 election. FBI Special Agent Hugh Raymond Evans first filed the affidavit last month to establish probable cause for a raid that seized about 700 boxes of Georgia 2020 election ballots from a storage warehouse. The affidavit included information gleaned from the FBI interviews with about a dozen unnamed witnesses recounting various allegations that dated back to the disputed 2020 election in Georgia in which Joe Biden was narrowly declared the winner over Donald Trump. Some of the allegations have been disproven, while some of these allegations have been substantiated, as we know. Many of the substantiated allegations were previously reported by Just the News. An Evans affidavit dated January 28th cited 5 major areas of irregularities. And now, because, guys, the affidavit, all this stuff is getting unsealed now, we know exactly what the feds were looking for. Fulton County has admitted that it does not have the scanned images of all the 528K ballots or the 527K ballots counted during the state's first recount. That's a major loss of evidence. Fulton County has confirmed that during the recount of votes, some ballots were scanned multiple times. Ballot images made available in response to public requests show ballots with unique markings duplicated within the ballot images. During the risk-limiting audit, auditors counting the votes by hand reported vote tallies for batches inconsistent with the actual votes within the batch. It's unbelievable. The unsealed affidavit is right there. Just the News reported in 2021 that a contractor sent to Fulton County to observe voting on behalf of Georgia Secretary of State Brett Raffensperger chronicled widespread confusion. And this motherfucker is running for governor soon. Incredible, right? The thing is, guys, as the FBI is now searching and going through all this stuff with a fine-tooth comb, Fulton County is now, they're finding now they are short over 40 boxes. 40 boxes of election materials after former head of Atlanta FBI refused to carry out investigation into 2020 steal was let go. That's not good. We have more missing evidence. Paul Brown, the FBI special agent in charge of the Atlantic field office, was forced out, as we know. And according to MSN Now, Brown was forced out this month after questioning the Justice Department's renewed push to probe Fulton County's role. And he gone now. And they're finding out there's 20 boxes of evidence that are missing. Out of 656 total, more than 40 boxes short from what they were expecting to find. And I can tell you guys right now, those 40 boxes were probably all over the hands of Ruby Freeman and her fucked up daughter. That's what you're getting out of that. Okay? And what you have going on here is the unsealed affidavit from Fulton County talking about Georgia State Election Board member observed ballot images from 2020 that were modified in January of 2024. Okay? What happened in January of 2024, guys? Oh, that's right. Donald Trump became president again. Oh, no, wait, 2025. My bad. Either way, if you have ballot images that are untouched, all good. They showed, the FBI guys, Kash Patel, these guys had to show proof to a judge that this is what happened to get probable cause to initiate them to get this raid. And they find out that these images were modified in January of 2024. How is that possible? How could they do that? We were all told these things don't happen. They can never happen. Witness 2. So these are the witnesses. There are witnesses that are coming out, guys, in the affidavit, the unsealed affidavit. Anyone can go and read this now. Witness number 2 stated while she was reviewing the images, she also noticed modification dates associated with the files well past the time frame of the 2020 election. She observed at least one file with date modified January 11th, 2024, along with others modified prior to January 11th, 2024. Who was doing that? Liz Harris's affidavit also includes cybersecurity expert Markel Clay, who said someone had to have manipulated the times for the closing tapes from early voting showing they used different machines than votes were tabulated onto print results. And this is why I'm saying, when we found out that this raid was going down, this was not some like friendly Trump judge. This is fucking Atlanta. This is Fulton County, guys. This is the cesspool where the devil lives to rig elections to fuck over law-abiding American patriots. Okay? This is a big deal. This judge, it was undeniable. The case that was presented, we don't even know half of this, what's going to happen with this, fam. We have no idea. All we know is that this stuff is coming out. This stuff is coming out, and there seems to be legit evidence that shit was messed with. No doubt about it. No doubt. John Solomon wanted to break this down, and this is what he had to say about this whole situation. It's ramping up, fam, on all fronts.
We got a lot of big news for you today. In fact, I would argue that today is one of the most momentous days in the fight for election integrity in a very long time. Just the news obtained just a short while ago, the affidavit that the FBI filed back in late January for probable cause for that raid on the Georgia Fulton County election warehouse. What the FBI says in that affidavit is extraordinary. It says it has, quote, substantiated, those are the exact words, that there were irregularities in the vote count in Fulton County. That is the Atlanta area, the largest urban center, the largest vote center in Georgia. FBI Special Agent Hugh Raymond Evans first filed the affidavit last month. It got unsealed today. It establishes the probable cause for that raid, where 700 boxes of 2020 election ballots were taken from a storage warehouse. After getting a referral, by the way, this is something we learned in the affidavit. The referral of this information, the specific credible evidence, came from the White House election integrity czar, a guy President Trump picked named Kurt Olson. Now, the FBI agent wrote in that affidavit that, quote, some of the allegations that were raised about the Georgia election have been disproven, while some of the allegations have been substantiated, including through direct admissions by Fulton County. I want you to stop and just think about that for a second. Fulton County is now admitting they did things inappropriately for the 2020 election. Doesn't mean the vote totals are going to change, but the way they counted and how they audited and how they did the recount clearly in great concern. His affidavit cited 5 major areas of irregularities. I'm not going to go through all of them with you. I'm going to tell you all 5 are things that Just the News reported between 21 and 24 during our investigation of the Georgia election. Now, some of them are pretty simple. The ballot counts didn't match. They would scan images, and then some of them were lost. They would sometimes count, and the counts wouldn't match. So you have a loss of ballots. You've got ballots that were submitted for counting that didn't go through the proper verification process. There were ballots that were scanned twice, which means they were counted twice during recounts. And I think the most extraordinary admission comes from a top lieutenant to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. He was the Georgia election chief. His number one guy admitted to the FBI, according to the affidavit, that some of the things that the FBI corroborated, some of the things that they got Fulton County to admit to, he himself, as the election chief under Brad Raffensperger, had not heard of and does not think the state ever looked at. Now remember, Brad Raffensperger was among the people early.
Brad Raffensperger, top dude in the elections, told FBI agents that Brad Raffensperger did not look at some of the things that were corroborated with the FBI, the illegal shit that was going down. Didn't even fucking look. Didn't even look at the irregularities, the complaints, and the issues that were coming on. That motherfucker was up there telling the world that everything was good. Everything is good. How the fuck does this guy get away with this? I mean, how does he walk away from this? And he's running for governor from what I understand now. Do we want that piece of shit to be the governor of Georgia? And this isn't conspiracy theories. It's in the affidavit, fam. And they're all talking. They're all coughing it up now because guess what? Kash Patel's in there now. They're not fucking around.
Who argued that it was a perfect election in Georgia, no reason to distrust the count. Now, in fairness to Secretary of State Raffensperger, as Just the News began to find evidence of wrongdoing in Fulton County, things like the double counting of ballots, the missing images, the votes where someone marked both Trump and Biden and only Biden was picked the winner, that was a spoiled ballot. He admitted that maybe things weren't as perfect. And perhaps the most important piece of evidence that we put out there and that the FBI relied on in its affidavit, the Carter Jones report. This is a report by Raffensperger's personal emissary to Fulton County. He was sent there to observe the 2020 election, 8 pages of irregularities. He observed, the FBI said that is important evidence in their evidence. A couple quick things that just jump out in this affidavit. Then we're going to get to our first guest, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. We'll get his reaction on this and a whole lot more, including the subpoenas he issued for big healthcare companies and health insurance companies today. But there's a moment where the ballots are being recounted in a recount, and they don't match. They come up 17,434 ballots short. And then magically, without explanation, without anything changing, they suddenly reported the next day, oh, the ballots matched. Now, why is that important? If, as the FBI agent says in his affidavit, if they can prove that were intentional, that they knew they were misleading the public, that they knew they weren't following certain amount of the state laws and regulations for the election, they can be charged with fraud under election integrity statutes. A lot of ways of looking at this is that they may never get to the bottom of whether fake votes were cast, but they may have the strategy that took down great mob bosses by finding a tax violation or something else, Al Capone. They may have an Al Capone solution to the election integrity problem that has long dogged Georgia. There could be some accountability. Go to justthenews.com. Go check everything out.
So this is where I'm kind of at with all this, guys, and this is why I've been trying to tell you all, let's try to keep some of this stuff in expectations. And I'm saying that because, yes, we would love all these fucks to get arrested. They're gonna have to prove that in a court. That's gonna take a lot of time. What I think is the priority of the Trump administration, what I think is going to end up happening here, they may get these low-level, douchebags, these election workers, these no-names, get them to flip. We'll see if anyone higher up gets exposed, but what's going to be the most important thing out of all this, guys, is obviously the process in which this was allowed to happen, to never allow that to happen again, and to get a new process in to ensure that our elections everywhere, not just in Georgia, but all over the country, are locked in, and this shit can't happen again. Because obviously, guys, for us, the midterms are coming up this year. We have no idea how they're going to turn out right now. We'll see what happens. I'm not freaking out about that shit. It's only February right now. But for me, it's like, yes, we would love to set an example for these fucks to get be held accountable. No doubt about it. What's more important right now? That our elections are actually real. They're not fake. They can't be manipulated. And we have actual voter ID. And you have to be a citizen of this country to vote in our elections. And no illegals, non-citizens, get the fuck out of here. And the mail-in ballots. Done. Take care of that shit. Soldiers, in some rare instances where that cannot, very rare instances where you can do it. That's it. This is the bread and butter, guys, and Trump's been destroying it since day one, since he got into office. Since day one. You got missing ballot boxes. And on top of it, we know the FBI has been heavily involved with all this, but guess what? Did you guys know the CIA is also involved with this? Oh, yes. Panic ensues after Trump orders CIA to give 2020 election intel to stop the steal lawyer. President Donald Trump has instructed the CIA, Ratcliffe, and other spy agencies to hand over intelligence related to the 2020 election, guys. This article came out today. The records are to be handed over to Kurt Olson, now a temporary government employee in the White House who 4 years ago was involved in the Stop the Steal campaign to determine whether Joe Biden won the 2020 election via cheating. And this is one of the few guys, fam, out of that entire Stop the Steal, all 50 states, that didn't turn out to be a fucking grifter. This guy is one of the wizards that knows how all this shit works. He's ordering the CIA to give this man all the intelligence to figure out what happened in 2020. And fam, I can tell you right now, this is coming out now in the news. You already know this guy has been working on this shit for years. And now he's officially in the Trump admin, working directly with the CIA. So I'm saying, fam, I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm excited. The admin last year hired Kurt Olson, who has more than 5 years ago took part in Stop the Steal, as we know. President Donald Trump has directed the U.S. spy agencies to share sensitive intelligence about the 2020 election with his former campaign lawyer, known for pushing debunked theories of electoral fraud, according to 4 people with knowledge of the effort. Big. The president has asked Mr. Olson to look at intelligence related to the 2020 election, and the agency is ensuring that he has the access necessary to do his work, a CIA official told NBC. When asked about Olson's role, the White House told the outlet President Trump has the authority to provide access to classified materials to individuals as he deems necessary. Oh, shit. The entire Trump admin is working together to ensure the integrity of U.S. elections. The admin did not specifically respond to questions about whether Olson was focused only on the 2020 election or possible security threats to future elections. The freakout comes after the FBI's recent search, as we know, in Fulton County. So, they are really worried, fam. They are really worried. Politico was saying, this guy has no background in intelligence. Good. Intelligence analyst is supposed to be nonpartisan.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
Fuck these people.
Retard alert, class.
Trump loyalists in there. Fuck you. First person that Olson has passed a background check and a polygraph exam. It is not clear how close Olson is to completing his report on the 2020 elections. You don't think Trump has an idea about where this is going to end up going? He wants confirmation from his top dog that was already knee deep in the 2020 fraud election. And now he's working on it now. And now is not only that, with his own expertise, he's getting access from the CIA. Who's talking about that, guys? No one's talking about that. I didn't even know this guy was I didn't even know this guy was hired a year ago. You guys know that? I didn't know that. And meanwhile, while this is all going on, guys, the SAVE Act, I believe, passed its first step in the House today. And the douchebag Massie was the only Republican that voted against it because of he wanted whatever fucking it's always something with Massie. It's always something. I don't know why he is a Republican. He should just be a Democrat at this point. But it did pass the first process in the House, guys. This could end up going in the Senate very, very soon, guys. The SAVE Act, from what I understand, is going to end up going through. There is zero reason that the SAVE Act is not passed under Trump's administration. And once that is done, fam, that'll be a cornerstone promise. Another cornerstone promise that is going to be fulfilled by the Trump admin. That's going to be huge. And I think they're trying to make it go into effect for the midterms. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but I know that's what they're trying to get accomplished. We shall see. Murkowski was the only one, I believe, that said she is, so far, not going to vote yes for the SAVE Act. It's always the same old cunts that need to go the wayside. And for whatever reason, Kamala Harris wanted to give her thoughts on the voter ID. So she went to the best place on earth to go talk to the media, and that is BET.
Is agreeing to voter ID one of those compromises that you'd support? I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't, there's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws,
oh, so good.
Be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are. Of course, people have to prove who they are, but not in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to prove who they are.
Remember, guys, when this cunt thought she could be president? He had thoughts that maybe this could happen. Thank God that did not happen. And it's funny because what you're seeing here, there are we've been talking about this for months, guys. They are getting ramped up, their narratives ramped up, especially for ICE in front of the polling stations. These people are getting so panicked from what I can see from the outside that they're literally broadcasting their playbook to the world through their corrupt media. This was on MSN Now. This was, I believe, the governor of Maine, or the Secretary of State from Maine, Shenna Bellows. She's also running for governor. I'm sure she's not going to cheat her way in. They never do that. This is her talking strategy about what they're going to do for the midterms, okay?
As the White House, which has a standing weekly meeting now about both looking back towards 2020 election, but also looking forward to 26 and 28 as they prepare, as some have speculated, to even deploy troops to the streets or lean on the states for voter roll information. What more can you do to push back between now and November?
So I think there are three things that we can do. First and foremost, we have to be really aggressive in the courts, and the states are winning. Yesterday, we won in Michigan. Last week, we won in Oregon. The week before in California. So being very assertive and bold in going to the courts, because Article 1, Section 4 of the Constitution could not be more clear that it's states, not the federal government, that are in charge of our elections. But second, it's really about looking at our state and federal laws and looking at policies and procedures. Every election, I train my clerks and local law enforcement about what the laws are and what the procedures are at the polling places. So for example, in 2024, we trained folks on what to do if there.
Yeah, Sabra, I was thinking the same thing. The Mexican cartels could land some of those drones on that forehead. That shit is big.
Was swatting. And then when there was swatting in 6 of our polling locations, we were ready and voting was uninterrupted.
Gives Peyton Manning a run for her money.
So we'll need to do training for our clerks, for our local and state law enforcement. And then finally, it's going to be up to the people and making sure that we are making voting as accessible as possible to every single citizen in this country. Because the reason they're doing all of this is they are terrified of losing.
Right. It's the losing part we're terrified of.
You know, President Trump is like the world's worst ex-boyfriend. He cannot get over the fact that the country broke up with him in 2020, and he keeps going back to that. And unfortunately, all the people around him are now buying into these conspiracies, but with the goal of trying to disrupt and change the results in 2026.
So we're going to do our training. We're going to do our law enforcement polling place. We're going to show them what the law says.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard
Same
alert,
rhetoric,
class.
guys, that we heard in 2020. The same shit. And I saw this really interesting post, guys, and this is probably your red pill of the day, okay? This is how you know, like, so much has changed in this country, but yet not a lot has, right? You're probably like wondering, Scott, like, what are you talking about? When the slaves were in this country, the Dems used the slaves in the same way that you're seeing with what they're doing with the legals now to rig elections, okay? Check this out from Arthur McWaters, all right? This has always been the playbook. This is how you know this has always been a game. Sanctuary states aren't defending illegal immigrants out of empathy. They're defending their congressional seats and allowing a permanent underclass. Ironically, this is exactly why slave states fought to count slaves in the census. Literally exactly why. Big part of the Civil War, guys. Read the original documents from the Constitutional Convention. It's not empathy. It's the opposite. They're fine with human beings being subjugated to a terrible life as long as they count toward power in Congress and electoral votes. It's demographic gerrymandering, and tens of millions of illegal immigrants are the pawns of the strategy. Okay. This is what they did. Slave states in 1787. Yes, it was the slave states who wanted to count slaves as one person. Let's count slaves in the census so we get more seats in Congress, even though we won't give them rights, the 3/5 compromise. You guys all remember that. Sanctuary states in 2026. Let's count illegal immigrants in the census so we get more seats in Congress. This is exactly what they've always done. It is the same playbook. It's just they're not calling them slaves. They just call them, basically what? Just people that want an opportunity. The dreamers. The dreamers is what Joe Biden called them while he was in office. Same exact thing. And here we are in 2026. Trump is trying to dismantle this. This is why this is such a big deal. So, Possum, you're the only one talking about sound. Everyone else in the chat, guys, is audio fine. Audio fine. The only one talking about audio. Nancy Mace put this in and said, we filed an amendment to the Save America Act to move the voter ID requirements up to cover elections on or after November 1st, 2026. We strongly support the Save America Act, but voter ID cannot wait until 2027. We need to restore election integrity for the midterms. These elections will be vital. Control of Congress is on the line. Every vote must be legitimate. Every ballot must be legal. And only American citizens should get to decide Americans' future. Damn, it is very rare that I pull up something on Nancy Mace on this show and it's something good. She's a fucking psychopath. Crazy bitch. Crazy bitch. But they are trying to get everything done for the 2026 midterms, guys. And as I told you, Lisa Murkowski, she's already out against Trump's election bill. She's already out, which is not surprising by anyone. Thank you, Condition Base says, knowing our military, they let it fly back to its home to create a target. Dude, they mapped this shit out, right? They mapped this shit out. They've been probably doing that the entire time. The Emergency with a cookie, Sean Joe with a cookie, Halo Moon with a cookie, and Bobby Digital. They took their dirty, sick beaters and molested the ballots. Treason. Yes, my friend, absolutely. Don't worry, though. Cash has got it. Cash has got it. Hey, thank you, Spin City News, for the raid. Appreciate that, my friends. Thank you so much. And guys, we got 5,617 gold pills. We're 15K away from our 20K goal. Let's keep that rock and rolling, guys. What I want to get into now is a lot more wins, okay? Because we talk a lot about it. We talk a lot of negative shit, and rightfully so. But I'm here to tell you guys, Trump's economy is literally just getting started. The job reports, and we knew this was going to take time to turn the economy around, guys. This is just how it kind of works. And I can tell you now, fam, it's working. The job numbers, financial numbers in general, they are skyrocketing, and it's only going to get better.
Right now from Cheryl. 130,000 jobs created for the month of January. Wow. The estimate was 70,000. Wow, is right, Maria. 4.3% is the unemployment rate. The street was looking for 4.4%.
60,000 jobs over expectation.
This is not the kind of report we expected to see, guys.
60,000 jobs, fam, over report that they were not expecting. Look how happy and giddy everyone is in the financial market.
On-farm payrolls for January coming in twice expectations at 130,000. 130K, that would be the juiciest going back to April of last year when it was 158.
Everyone is celebrating. Everybody is losing their shit. Rick Santelli goes totally crazy and puts on a Dow 50K hat.
Say that nobody's going to rain on my parade, and these numbers are what they are, and 50K. I made this hat 2 months ago, and the reason I made it is for exactly a day like today. All these naysayers steeped in politics continue to be negative. That's okay, because 50K says you've all been wrong. You keep from going in the water even though it's very hot outside. I say all the investment gurus out there, jump in the markets in the U.S. because global GDP is going to take a big ramp up, and the U.S. is leading the way.
Kitty, you want a hat?
I love that hat.
Incredible. Bam, we have been hearing this for all of you that have been with me since the beginning, hearing about the experts bitch and cry and say Trump's going to kill the economy, tariffs are going to kill the economy. It's not the case at all. And here's National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett talking about the actual labor force at its highest level since 2001. And they've got the lowest number of government workers since when? 1966, guys. Trump is gutting the federal government. Take a watch.
Labor force participation, the percentage of Americans that are looking for a job or have a job, it actually went to its highest level since 2001. So actually people are coming back off the sidelines into the labor market because they see the high wage growth, all the factory starts and so on. And so that's thing one. Thing two is that because we've been reducing government workers, federal government workers so much, about 360,000 this year, that the jobs numbers actually kind of understate how wonderful the economy is doing because the government worker employment has been a drag. And to put it in perspective, that we've got the lowest government worker number since 1966 and the lowest share of government workers in the labor force in all of history. And so we have done something really, really dramatic in downsizing government. And what that does is it helps us be fiscally responsible and get interest rates lower. Now, the bottom line is that I've been saying on your show really since we started over a year ago, Stu, that I think that we're going to have a big positive supply shock and that we could have high growth and low inflation. Right now, we've got high growth and low inflation, and I think there's plenty of room for the Fed to cut rates because this theory about why you would lift rates right now because of high growth is an old-fashioned Phillips curve story that doesn't really apply when you get a big positive supply shock from AI or the internet. Alan Greenspan understood that back in the 90s, and let's hope that some people at the Fed understand it now.
So much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, It's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more.
It's fantastic. And what you are seeing here, guys, is very simple. Trump and ICE, they're taking out these illegals. They are taking out all these pieces of shit third worlders that have been taking our jobs and then getting them out. And guess what? All these companies, they're hiring. The labor market, construction, it is going through the roof. Private sector jobs, quote, which is our main focus right now because we've been reducing government employment. They went up to 170,000. Trump is reallocating those government jobs and giving it back to the private sector. Incredible. We told you this is all going to happen, guys. You guys understood. You all knew. You've been the guys, the woke fan that's been with me and hanging in there. You all understand this. And when you look at the graphs here to see what's going on, it really paints the picture here. Carolyn Levitt shared this. This fact alone deserves the attention of every mainstream media reporter today. This is the real story. Trump was handed an economy that was losing private sector jobs and adding government payrolls, but he successfully flipped the script. And 1 year later, it's all private sector growth, all cutting government jobs. That is what we all voted for. Putting America first. This is private sector, and everything down the blue, guys, is negative, under zero. Total private green, blue in the government. Incredible. This is what Trump promised, and here we are. Now, guys, I really don't give a shit about the stock market. I got nothing invested. Trump's always used this as a good talking point. Is what it is. Don't really care. I personally don't care about the stock market. But the Dow Jones average surpassed 50,000. First time level for the first time ever last week. National median rents are now at 4-year lows. Mortgage affordability has surged to a 4-year high. Guys, I've been getting nonstop calls and mailing from my mortgage company to basically redo my mortgage and to get lower interest rates. They are begging people to do it. U.S. manufacturing actively expanded in January at the fastest pace since 2022. Consumer sentiment is now at a 6-month high. Third quarter GDP was revised upwards at 4.4% growth. Gas prices are averaged roughly 20 cents lower than last year. In 17 of the top 20 metro areas with the largest illegal migrant populations, homeless prices declined year over year in January because they're shipping these fuckers out. American truckers and construction workers, both industries with high numbers of foreign-born workers, have reported large increases in pay as blue-collar wages grow at the fastest clip in decades. Trump ended Biden's inflation crisis, and now we have running a 2.4 annualized, much lower than the 3% that was inherited by Biden, and core inflation is down at 2.4%. Trump launched Trump RX, and President Trump has secured trillions in private and foreign investments, as we know. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And under President Trump, federal employment has declined to its lowest level since, again, 1966. You can't find this, guys, anywhere close in history. It is absolutely fantastic. And as we said here, quote, I think a lot of people would say this is starting off the year off on a good foot. Take a watch.
I think a lot of people would say this is starting off the year on the right foot because we're seeing 130,000 jobs added for the month of January. The expectation was just 70,000. We also saw the unemployment rate falls to 4.3%. The expectation there was 4.4%. Take a look at where we saw jobs added and lost. Healthcare, 123,000 added. Also, professional and business services and construction, adding 34 and 33,000 jobs respectively. A lot of people probably like to see that. Losing jobs for the month, financial activities, and here you go, government down 42,000 jobs. Revisions for the months of November and December show 17,000 fewer jobs were added than first believed. And also coming out today, Stuart, the Labor Department cut prior job numbers stretching back nearly 2 years. Looking at 2024, the last year of the Biden administration, the U.S. produced only 1.2 million jobs versus the previously estimated 2 million jobs. So weaker coming out of the Biden administration than we expected, that we first believed, rather.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more.
And Trump said it here, guys. Just in, great job numbers, far greater than expected. United States of America should be paying much less on its borrowings bonds. We are again the strongest country in the world and should therefore be paying the lowest interest rate by far. This would be an interest cost savings of at least $1 trillion per year balanced budget. Plus, wow, the golden age of America is upon us. This is what I've been saying, guys. We're not even there yet. Trump said it right here. It's upon us. It is right here. And it's just about to begin. This is why I can't stand the black pillars. These people can go fuck themselves. They want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein all day and all this other bullshit in the midterms and all this other nonsense. And I've just been over it for months, guys. You understand that. You've seen it. You've heard me talk about it on the show. I don't give a shit. I don't even give a shit, guys, what normies have to say about any of this stuff. I have been diehard MAGA since basically since I saw what they try to do to Trump in his first admin. And I'm like, fuck these people. Why are they doing this to Donald Trump? Trump's good. Trump's good, dude. And that's kind of just where I'm at. Because I'm seeing a lot of these pollsters and takes about, you know, the independents and the moderates and shit. And obviously, I mean, again, Fam, I didn't get into this for the fucking politics. I got into this because what I was seeing in the world was pissing me off. And the lies of the media pissing me off. And then divulge into everything else we've done on this show. And all I can see, everything that I personally wanted to see so far from Trump, it's all happening on so many fronts, from the election fraud to the SAVE Act, to the economy, everything. It's incredible. And we're just getting started in year 2. All I can say is, Senior Paul, you just fucking said it, man. And that is, it's so simple. Epstein doesn't lower my gas and my groceries. Epstein doesn't get rid of my income tax. Epstein does not make a, a safer future for my family and kids. Obviously arresting these criminals, obviously stopping trafficking. And there again, people are acting like that just stopped happening because they didn't get their fucking list of elite pedophiles arrested yet. Fucking nonsense. It is nonsense. And all these people that are cashing in online and on these live streams, these podcast bros, they're all full of shit. They are banking on the money while the money is good. That's all that's happening right now. So where I kind of want to transition this is, you guys all know Bondi, I've been saying for a while, Bondi is good in some regards. She is not good with the scripted PR bullshit, but she did not do that today in a hearing as she was tangling with the Dems about Epstein, Donald Trump, the DOJ, and everything that she's been working on. It's all a side of Bondi that I don't think we have seen before until today. And she was taking a giant shit on the Dems. And if you guys go online right now, you're going to see personalities all over the place on the conservative spectrum saying that what Bondi did today was Trump should fire her. She's a disgrace to this country the way she handled herself. And fam, this is why I get so pissed off as an American that has been through the ringer myself, and my family been through the ringer myself, for the attacks that you get for speaking truth and trying to be nice and playing softball with these evil fucking people that will literally celebrate when you die. The way that Pam Bondi treated these Democrats today is exactly how they're supposed to be fucking treated. These hearings are a waste of time. They're there for clips. They're there for their own political gain. And you want to waste my time, I'm going to waste your time. And for the life of me, guys, I don't understand what the majority of these influencers on X, always talking shit, they're supposedly MAGA, expect Pam Bondi to quote handle herself professionally in front of these people. That all, in my opinion, guys, in my view, this all died during COVID. That all died during when a bullet almost hit Trump in the head. That all died when Charlie Kirk's neck exploded for the world to see. Decorum, professional ability, to these people, these fucking people that literally do their little take in their hearing, and the moment they're done, they got their clip, they walk out the fucking door to go on to the next grift. And people are saying Bondi's a disgrace for how she handled herself. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? I hope she goes even harder the next time. What am I talking about? Here we go.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
There we go. Not going to get in the gutter with these people. Fuck these people.
I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very interesting.
Again, you can
when
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they
Reclaiming my
indicted,
time, Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and stop the clock and restore his time.
There's retarded Raskin. Always save the day.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to answer.
The question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute question.
Restore 45
and
seconds,
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Oh, yes, it is on your watch, you fuckface, and it will continue to be on your watch. Sit down and take it.
Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even.
And right here, she looks right at Raskin and said, you don't fucking tell me anything. You washed up lawyer. You're not even a lawyer. That's how it's done. Shut the fuck up.
Before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time that I should get.
You see Jim Jordan here. This is why I'm saying. Jim Jordan's like, whoo. That was funny.
I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler.
All right. My time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0. You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release.
And Jerry Nadler just keeps blabbing off, man. He just keeps going, and they go on the next fucking person. These people deserve no respect. The Democrats want to keep talking about this shit. They want to keep going and going and going and going. They didn't care about Epstein during Joe Biden's administration. They don't care about him now. And you want to know why, guys? It's very simple. Even during the Super Bowl, they were running ads with Jeffrey Epstein's victims. And these cunts, and guys, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something that some people might not want to hear, but it's just a reality. You guys all know the Me Too movement, trust every woman, all that shit, right? And again, I'm not going to sit here and say that obviously every child that they abducted, obviously there was obviously victims. No doubt about it. No one's arguing that. What I'm going to say here, guys, there is no doubt in my mind that some of these women got into this. They knew what they were getting into. This is old pimp shit. Pimping has been going on for for hundreds of thousands of years. You can't tell me that these women that got into this industry, moved up in the industry, and then they themselves were recruiting other women to make a shit ton of money and being part of that network, being a part of billionaire elites, getting the benefits of that. And they fucking loved it. They loved it. And why, fam? Why am I saying that? Because in that Super Bowl commercial, you have these women talking about being victims, and then you find out that the money that's funding those commercials is coming from the Tides Foundation, which is Reid Hoffman money. Reid Hoffman being a big-time Jeffrey Epstein lover boy and frequently the island all the time. And it's insane, right? It's insane. And I know for most people out there, normies be like, oh my God, Sky, you're fucking terrible. How could you say that? No. That's the reality of the situation. These hoochie mamas do it to athletes all the time. They get knocked up. They get the dudes fucked up, get pregnant, they go crazy, and then they're set for life. Elon Musk did the same thing. It's stupid decisions. We've all made stupid decisions. I'm not trying to drag everyone specifically down. We've all made mistakes, right? No one's perfect. The Democrats don't give a shit. They don't care. And I love that Bondi called Raskin a washed-up loser lawyer. And then my favorite of the day was fucking Thomas Massie. This is Thomas Massie and Bondi duking it out.
Do that probably on one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact. A list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files. But he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to...
And the survivors, the survivors that have been being used as political cannon fodder, the ones that are holding signs that saying Trump's a pedophile, Trump protects pedophiles with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ro Khanna, this retard here, Thomas Massie, right? They're all getting a nice payday for all this shit, guys. They all getting it. Again, I said that this is not applying to all victims, guys. There's obviously victims. They got the names, right? They got the names, but they're afraid to speak out. Get the fuck out of here. Not buying it, guys.
The FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see. because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times. Yeah,
I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
Mr.
Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back?
Mr.
Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from Kentucky.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Joke.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? Here's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
He's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that. Yes.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of over
listed as a co-conspirator.
And we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician. You need to
want you to watch the video.
Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
Something got spliced in this video. Complete fucking joke. Got TDS. It's like listening to children argue, guys. I know it gets fucking ridiculous. It really gets fucking ridiculous, but Massie is such a hack. He's such a chode. I told you guys already he was the only Republican to vote against the SAVE Act, which, by the way, has now made its way to the Senate. Okay? And we're going to find out just how much the Democrats hate America, because we all know voter ID is universally beloved and wanted by this country. Okay? It's now in the Senate, fam. SAVE Act is on its way. We're going to see what happens. But I wanted to show you guys, Bondi has not been my favorite PR-wise, okay? It's not. And I've said that many times now. Many times. She did a good job today. And for anyone saying she's a disgrace, Trump should fire her over this, get rid of Cash, get rid of everybody. Fuck those people, guys. Because they have zero solutions. They have zero solutions, and they want this to fail. Very simple. All right. What do we got going on here? Go back. Thank you to It's Emergency, Sean Joe, Digital, Senor Pollo. Now let's tackle taxes. Yes, the poor farm with a can. Tennessee Girl, 5,000 gold pills. Need a gold pill rally, fam. Thank you, Tennessee Girl. Always jumping the goal. Poor farmer with the quadruple cans. And Senor Pollo the can. Sean Joe, thank you, my friend. Your post says, Epstein doesn't lower my gas and groceries. Yes, Liberty Girl says, keep going, Scott. You're invaluable. Thank you so much, Liberty Girl. I appreciate that. Edition Base says, you are right about the gold diggers setting up athletes. I know someone who shall remain nameless. I had a girl to take care of him. Not to get too graphic, let's just say she hawk-tuied it into a Ziploc and injected herself when she got home, and the shit worked. Damn. Hoochie mamas, guys. Hoochie mamas. They know what they're doing. I'm just saying. Yes, there are victims. There are victims, but there are women out there, guys. Devious. Devious and evil. Poor cousin, thank you for that cookie, my friend. We're at 13,317 gold pills, guys. 7K away. 7K away. And where I kind of want to bring this, guys, is very simple. And yours truly has, again, this is just kind of the repeat of what happened with Candace Owens. Taking very unpopular takes with obvious sauce for outing frauds and deceivers and liars within this movement. And the latest that we got into this was with Steve Bannon, okay? I've had longtime viewers on this show argue with me, mostly on Telegram and a lot on X, okay? And all I was trying to do today, you know, I showed you guys the actual text messages, okay? I showed you the text messages yesterday, and they were just some of them. I have more. If we have time to look at them, I'll show you them. And all I was simply bringing up was the fact that there is one question pertaining to Steve Bannon outside of all the other shit that's come out in these files. And all I was asking was, can someone please explain to not just me, but the entire fucking audience that has supported Steve Bannon and his entire fag entourage for years, and explain to me and them, how the hell do you explain away your wargaming of trying to strip Donald Trump of his immunity as president to remove him, and ultimately it would end up him getting imprisoned? And I cannot tell you guys how many people still live in la la bullshit world of 5D chess and kayfabe and Steve Bannon was a mole. They might look through, I don't even know, there's hundreds, I mean, there may be even thousands of text messages between Steve Bannon and Epstein. And guys, this wasn't and the main thing that I've been getting from people that are still like beholden to Steve Bannon, it's just fucking sad at this point. It's really sad. And this is why I don't get emotionally tied into any content creator, anyone in the podcast space, guys. And I learned something from just being around, quote, Anons back in the Q days, to never get close to Anons ever again, unless you know them personally, you know their names, you know who they actually are. I got burned, I don't know how many times, stories you guys don't even know about. I don't know if they'll ever come out, maybe one day. But true scumbag fucking people that I considered truly almost best friends getting betrayed and tying myself to a group and being completely independent and completely single-minded and completely not beholden to anyone besides my kids and my audience is truly freeing. Okay? I don't have a fucking network here, guys. I don't have a network, all right? A lot of that shit went away when I stopped talking about QAnon. Or Q. I asked that simple question, guys, and I got such vitriol from so many people in the war room, quote, posse. It's so fucking gay. And they could not answer it. I had people saying this was all just about a documentary. Guys, when you look at the text messages, this wasn't just Steve Bannon wanting to get a cozy one-time interview for his job, for his work. There are long text chains for a long time talking about his family, talking about super personal things with him, talking about everything under the sun, talking about having dinners and wanting to get lavished by the elites, wanting to do all this shit. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, how the fuck does this guy get a pass with anybody? How does that happen? How does that happen? And I'm sitting here reading these messages, guys, and it's all just fucking. You have Bannon going to Epstein for advice about how to plant the worst of the worst around Trump. They're here talking about Pompeo. Bannon says hammer time. He's like, why would they allow supposed bad guys to continue in the campaign doing so strange? Clapper should have been asked. Did you know? Bannon said, squeal like a piggy. As head of the campaign, an American shouldn't both be protected from suspected foreign agents. Just wargaming after wargame. Svetlana Lokava, one of the lawyers that was working under John Durham, says it appears that Epstein got the information that President Trump is focused on Stephen Halper from his pal Steve Bannon. Epstein, I like the idea of throwing this spy in the campaign bomb and then fleeing to Czech. Bannon says yes. IG report comments in by June 1st, issued late June and early July. Bannon says that and Halper kills him. And they still think Cambridge analysis refers to Boston. Smiley face emoji. Bannon says, and that's where we got him. We got him. Him and Epstein and their network. Guys, Steve Bannon was outed for being a giant piece of shit and also being a leaker. And who was Steve Bannon leaking to? Steve Bannon was leaking to fucking Jeffrey Epstein about the targets that Trump was trying to organize for trying to take him and his entire family and business down. That was in 2018. And I'm just simply sitting here reading the messages, guys, and I'm getting called the divider. I'm getting called a shill. Falling for the latest PSYOP. I'm just, what PSYOP? What PSYOP? It's in the text messages. Do we forget to go? Oh, shit, guys. We got to go Pilled exclusive. I completely forgot today. That is my fault. Guys, we're going to Pilled. Go to Pilled.net. I totally forgot. That disconnect got me all jacked up. Bam, let's go over to Pilled.net. Write me out. We'll see you guys over on Pilled. Goodbye, friends.